Hey, what's up? It's Ashlyn here. Haven't seen you guys in a while. I apologize. I've been having a lot of major internet issues. So some of my videos, if you are watching this one, my other videos, my parts 2 and 3 of the part 1 of 3 series is out. However, that was a book haul. And the funny thing is I'm going to be going bookshelf by bookshelf today, and we're going to be doing a book unhaul. Sorry that it kind of happened that way. I do apologize. Bear with me. I look like probably not the greatest. Well, my hair just fell. Hold on. Like, it is actually like, really, really late. I'm just gonna take this down. So I apologize if I don't look the greatest. Just deal with it, I guess. It's 10 minutes to 1 a.m. So this is what you get to deal with and look at. So sorry, I'm not like all those other YouTubers. Oh, and I'm also missing a tooth. I'll get to that in a second. But I'm not like all those other YouTuber females that are like, oh my god, I have to wear makeup in order to do my video. No, that's not me. So without further ado, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go shelf section by shelf section. I think part 1 is only, sorry, I'm like chubby right now too, but part 1 is only going to consist of these 4 shelves right here, and then there's going to be a part 2, a part 3, and a part 4, just so you guys know. So it's going to be a 4-part little mini series. I don't know if I'm going to be knocking it all out tonight, but bear with me and we will get started. Alright? Alright, let me get a drink and be right back. Alright, so we're going to address the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is I'm missing my, as everybody in high school had called it, a snaggle tooth. I got it removed the beginning of July. So this month still, we're still in July for another day. So I got it removed in July, and they've just been pushing my appointment back and back and back. They overbooked the appointment and things like that. So I'm going August 10th to get the mold done to do my, I don't remember if it's a partial or if it's a flipper. Regardless, my smile is going to be way different than you guys have ever seen me. I used to have that snaggle tooth, and I lived with that for so many years that when they extracted it from my mouth, I decided to keep it. And a lot of people have asked me, like, why did you keep that tooth? Well, that tooth and I have been through a lot, okay? I went through a whole phase of being bullied with that tooth. Alright, and I still came out on top. Yes, I had my moments of breaking down and things like that, but it still kept me going. I'm still here, you know? So, I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. I apologize, by the way, with messing with my hair so much. It's growing out. Like, right now, it's longer than it looks. And I don't know if I had long hair last time I recorded. I don't think I did. I think I had just gotten my hair cut. Well, it's grown quite a bit. It's filled back out, like, thickness-wise, and, if I were to straighten it right now, it would be to right here, and it was like way up here when I first got it done. So there's that. But yeah, I'm talking way too much, so I apologize. I'm pretty sure you guys are just here for the books anyways. So let's just see what I decide to unhaul. And what I'm going to do to figure that is I'm going to go ahead and read the synopsis. Some of them I'll read on camera, some of them I'll pause the camera and read, and then I'll give you my reaction if I'm gonna keep it. If I'm gonna keep it though, I don't think I'm gonna show it. I think I'm gonna mainly just show the ones, like, some of it is gonna be like cut up, like, I'll read some of the synopsises, give you my opinion. Some of them I'll just read off camera and decide to keep or toss. If I am going to be getting rid of it, though, I will definitely be turning the camera back on, giving you my response on as to why. Because there's a lot of books here. And I just want you guys to know my reasoning behind it. Like, what I don't like in the story and things like that. And maybe it'll be a book that I might deter you from as well. I mean, that's not my goal, but it happens. And BookTube has honestly helped me in so many different aspects by doing this unhauling and the reasoning why. So, give me a second. Alright, so as you guys can see, well, gosh, you guys can see my fat. Let's ignore that. As you guys can see, God, I look so big. As you guys can see, some of these books are turned where not the binding, the pages are facing this direction. That is because I already finished that book. So, I don't even know if I'm going to be keeping a lot of these books. This might be like the biggest unhaul I've ever had in my entire life. I'm just ready to completely downsize. I have a huge decision to make in like 5 months. And depending on how much I can actually get rid of, this is going to help. So let's just get started. Shay Mitchell and Michaela Blaney Bliss. Okay, so Shay Mitchell is from Pretty Little Liars, so I'm really curious about this. It says, Get Lost in the Imperfect World of Three Best Friends by Shay Mitchell, stars Freeform's #1 rated show, Pretty Little Liars, and best friend Michaela Blaney. Following your dreams might lead you down a rocky path, or it might get you everything you ever wanted. In the case of BFFs Sophia, Demi, and Leandra, the journey comes with epic hangovers, soulless jobs, and 30-something boyfriends who act half their age. So I'm going to just tell you right now, based on this, I'm going to keep this. So we're already off to a good start. I'm not even going to finish reading that. I mean, that's going to probably go in a maybe pile. Oh, and Serenity says hi. She's getting, like, really chubby. Alright, next we got The Color of Fear, Marcia Moeller. When a knock on the door in the middle of the night wakes Sharon, she's wholly unprepared for the horrifying news. Her father has been the victim of a vicious, racially motivated attack. Nationally recognized Shoshone artist Elwood had been visiting Sharon for the holidays, browsing for gifts in San Francisco's exclusive Marina District when he was set upon by a mob of angry young men. Now he lies in a coma, hovering between life and death. With little progress on the investigation from the overworked, short-handed police, Sharon resolves to track down Elwood's attackers herself. But when Sharon begins receiving hate-filled racist threats from a shadowy group, it becomes clear that her pursuit of justice may be putting her own life in jeopardy. I'm not sure. It says it's a Sharon McCone mystery. I've never heard of the Sharon McCone mysteries, and my biggest thing is with these being in the maybe pile, I think what's going to end up happening is I'm going to try a chapter with you guys on camera, but that's going to be another video, so we'll see how this goes. Alright, so great news. First one that I'm fully getting rid of is Spontaneous. Now, the reasoning is, I thought the movie was the stupidest thing in the world. I'm sorry, I don't remember who directed that movie, but it was absolutely ridiculous. The fact that people exploding and then just trying to make it to graduation and not knowing what's going on, and it being like a coronavirus, macaroni virus situation. So sorry, we can't say the other word, or otherwise it doesn't make the video great. I would say, like, what got me to pick it up in the first place was a blood-soaked, laugh-filled, tear-drenched, endlessly compelling read by Kirkus, the starred review. I didn't think so. I really didn't. So, ding, 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 first one gone. Alright, here I got Mary Higgins Clark, The Queen of Suspense. And it's I've Got My Eyes on You. This is difficult. Alright. It says, when 18-year-old Carrie Dowling is found dead at the bottom of the family pool, her devastated family faces the horrifying realization that Carrie might have been murdered by someone she loved. The obvious first suspect is Carrie's boyfriend, with whom she had a bitter argument at a party she threw while her parents were away, but suspicion falls upon the Dowlings' neighbor, an intellectually disabled young man named Jamie. Was a lack of invitation to the party enough to set him off, and is the pile of wet clothing his mother found in his room a sign of something sinister? Guidance counselor at the local high school, Carrie's grieving older sister Aileen, is bent on unveiling the truth, working closely with the detective assigned to the case. She turns up helpful clues, but the more Aileen digs, the more she's putting her own life in grave danger. That's amazing, because I don't know! Alright, then I got a loan, and I believe this came from a... It came from a book box, I just don't remember the name of it. I think it's the Accursed Library. Yeah, that sounds about right. This is by Lisa Gardner. It says, who can you turn to when you're at your most vulnerable? State Trooper Bobby something watches a tense hostage standoff through the scope of his sniper rifle. Dodge has only 1 second to react, or a woman and her child may die. Where can you hide when this killer comes? The woman at the other end of Bobby Dodge's something isn't only in trouble, she is trouble. Cool, beautiful, and dangerously sexy, Catherine Rose Gagman's life will change in an instant of violence. It's the most terrifying place to be. When Bobby pulls the trigger, someone will die, and then no one will be above suspicion, no one beyond harm, and no one will see death coming until it has them cornered, helpless, and alone. So, I don't know about this one either. I think with some of these maybes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find them in audiobook form and listen to them in audiobook, I think. Or if I can find them, like, in a free section on, like, an ebook form to put onto my Kindle. Just so I can always have them, at least in a more viewable ability, electronical ability, instead of physical space-taking ability. Alright, so we made it through that shelf, and we ended up keeping 4 books from that shelf. So that's good. A Mat for Wreck Girls, I already know by Jessica Taylor. I want to keep this, so I'm going to. Alright, let's see. Sleep comes easily for most people, but it's an impossible dream for Kata Fergus and the 5 other teens who volunteer to take part in a radical new treatment. They suffer from devastating insomnia and are desperate for help, so desperate that they're willing to undergo an experimental procedure that has only ever been tested on one other patient. They're supposed to be the beta group, but this time nothing goes as planned. Soon after, the 7 of them are put under catastrophe strikes, and they find themselves thrown together into a shared dream world with no memory of the experiment or any idea how they got there. As Kata and the others try to figure out what's happened to them, they come to the terrifying realization that they are trapped in a place where their worst nightmares come to life. Haunted by creatures from their deepest, darkest imaginations, tormented by terrible secrets they'd rather keep buried, the teens are forced to band together to face their biggest fears. And if these nightmares can't find a way to defeat them, they won't have a hope of ever waking up. So, this cover is great. It's called Dreamfall by Amy Plum. I don't know, whatever. And the cover's great. The idea behind it is cliche to me. It kind of draws my attention, but I feel like it's something I've already read before in books. Like the whole being stuck in your nightmare. It's almost like Hunger Games to me. And I'm just, what is it? Hunger Games and what was the other one? I don't don't even remember what the other one's called. Oh, Hunger Games and Divergent combined and made a book based, like a generic version of Hunger Games and Divergent mashed together. Not really here for it. Alright, next we got this one. Scott Westerfeld's Uglies. A world where everyone's ugly and they're not. Tally is about to turn 16 and she can't wait. In just a few weeks, she'll have the operation that will turn her from a repellent ugly into a startlingly attractive pretty. And as a pretty, she'll be catapulted into a high-tech paradise where her only job is to have fun. I already don't like this. I don't like the idea of a difference between ugly and pretty. And she's only 16, and she's undergoing a procedure. But Tally's new friend Shay isn't sure she wants to become a pretty. When Shay runs away, Tally learns about a whole new side of the pretty world, and it isn't very pretty. The authorities offer Tally a choice. Find her friend and turn her in, or never turn pretty at all. Tally's choice will change her world forever. And then you get a freaking, sorry, but, and then you get an option of find your friend, or never be able to turn pretty. But you also discover, like, the dark side of being a pretty. I'm not here for it. I don't stand with it. Sorry, Scott Westerfeld, but, this sounds like trash. Just saying. Alright, so I just told myself that this is, like, a really, really hard decision to make, but it's really not, because you can find any Mary Higgins Clark book in the free section, on Hoopla, on Kindle, like all of that. I have this 3 complete novels book of Mary Higgins Clark. It's got Where Are the Children, A Stranger Is Watching, and The Cradle Will Fall. It looks like this. I got it off Thrift Books, like, forever ago. But, like, my biggest thing about it is I already know that I can find all these books. I can find these 3 books easily, on top of, like, a few others. The only reason I want to keep the other one is because that's newer. These are older. There's an introduction by Mary Higgins Clark. It says, within these pages are my first 3 suspense novels. They've always been very special to me, and I was delighted when Winks Books at Random House wanted to gather them into a collection. From age 7, starting with the Nancy Drew series, I have virtually gulped down suspense novels. As the years passed, I became a devotee of Agatha Christie, Josephine Tey, Charlotte Armstrong, Mignon Eberhardt, Daphne du Maurier, Mary Roberts Reinhardt, just to name a few. I always knew I was going to grow up to be a writer, and in my early 20s began to sell short stories. 10 years passed, then I wrote a historical novel which no one read. When I was trying to decide what my next project would be, I remember that my first writing professor said, if you want a clue about what to write, take a look at your library shelves. What do you like to read? There on my shelves were those rows of Spunce novels, some of them decades old. I reflected on the fact that besides loving to read them, I had to come to understand why some of them worked and others didn't. I'd also become pretty good at deciphering clues. That's important. You see, a suspense writer must play fair with the reader. Think about the legend of Hansel and Gretel. When they went into the forest, they dropped smooth stones and breadcrumbs to leave a path that they could follow home. The birds ate the breadcrumbs and ignored the stones. In the same way, the suspense writer must offer legitimate clues, breadcrumbs as a path to choose for the reader. Mixed in, of course, are the stones or red herrings in the plot. After I decided to try my hand at writing suspense, the next problem was to determine what I would write about. Another piece of advice came to mind. In that first writing class, the professor had also suggested that we take a situation that particularly intrigued us and ask ourselves 2 questions. Suppose and what if? Turn the facts into fiction. I know this doesn't make, like, a bit of sense, but it kind of does. It's kind of cool to also, like, listen to what she thought. At that time, a young woman was on trial for murdering her 2 children. I did not write about that case. I asked myself, suppose the beautiful young mother is accused of murdering her 2 small children. Suppose she is innocent and so heartbroken that she doesn't care what happens to her. Suppose she is found guilty of murder, goes to prison, and then is released on a technicality. Suppose she remarries, has 2 more children, and 7 years later, to the day, the children of her second marriage disappear. That was the premise of Where Are the Children? It became my first bestseller. When I turned it into my publisher. I began a new book. There had just been a ransom drop in Grand Central Station. At the same time, the so-called Mad Bomber was setting off bombs all over New York City. I asked an FBI friend if it would be possible to hide kidnapping victims in Grand Central. His answer, Mary, you could hide an army in that station. I thought, and suppose the kidnapper has a bomb ticking next to his victims. That's how A Stranger's Watching began to form. When the first so-called test tube baby was born in England, there was international excitement. Many editorials cautioned that soon there would be surrogate mothers, host mothers. What were the legal ramifications? I asked myself the supposed question. Suppose an unscrupulous doctor is experimenting on young women, patients who long to become pregnant. The cradle will fall began to write itself. Now I do hope that all of you will curl up in your favorite easy chair and enjoy reading these stories as much as I have enjoyed writing them. I mean, do I want to keep it? Yes, because it's her first 3 actual, like, best-selling novels. But it's also not in the greatest condition. So I think I'm just going to say thank you for the joy you gave me. And be done with it. Alright, so as you guys can see, we are keeping 5, and one of them is turned over, and this one right here is actually Daisy Jones and the Six. Of course, I'm not getting rid of that one. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid books. Alright, well, I have here Robert Crace. It's called The Wanted. It sounds decent. It sounds interesting. However, again, it sounds like something I've read before, and I'm not here for it. I want something that isn't going to be so easy to figure out. Alright. This one is basically about a couple, a boyfriend and girlfriend, who do like high-end robberies, stealing drugs. Like right here it says, when single mother Devon Connor hires Elvis Cole, it's because her troubled teenage son Tyson is flashing cash and she's afraid he's dealing drugs. But the truth is devastatingly different. With 2 others, he's been responsible for a string of high-end burglaries, a crime spree that takes a deadly turn when one of them is murdered and Tyson and his girlfriend disappear. And then you have the one person that was also involved that stays behind. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And then, like, people get hired to kill this couple, and they're leaving bodies and all this other stuff. It sounds really not up my alley. Alright, so again, we have another one that I'm going to be getting rid of. It's called In Her Skin by Kim Savage. It doesn't sound right, okay? It says, 15-year-old con artist Jo Chaston takes on her biggest heist yet. Impersonating a missing girl, life on the streets of Boston over the past year hasn't been easy, and she hopes to cash in on a little safety and security. She finds her opportunity with the Lovecrafts, a wealthy family tied to the mysterious disappearance of Vivian Weir, who vanished when she was 9. When Jo takes on Vivi's identity and stages the girl's miraculous return, the Lovecrafts welcome her with open arms. They give her everything she could want, love, money, and proximity to their intoxicating, unpredictable daughter, Temple. But nothing is as it seems in the Lovecraft household, and some secrets refuse to stay buried. When hidden crimes come to the surface, the lines of deception begin to blur. Jo must choose to either hold on to an illusion of safety or escape the danger around her before it's too late. So basically, it's like Sinister Parents, and the reason this girl disappeared is because of the fact that Vivian was most likely killed or staged kidnapped by her family to get the wealth that they have now. And I have a feeling that Temple knows more about it and just has to keep quiet, so it sounds way too predictable, and I really don't care to know how it ends. Alright, so I'm getting rid of Nerve by Jean Ryan, and that is because I believe there was a movie out about it with Emma Roberts and the really cute guy that played in Last House on the Left, I believe, or Cabin in the Woods. I can't remember. I get those two mixed up. But anyway, basically what I'm saying is I've already watched the movie. I didn't know there was a book. This sounded great. I mean, it says to survive this game, choosing dare is your only option. Playing this game means playing with your life. It sounds great, but I hated the movie. And I doubt the book is going to be any better. It's probably just going to give me, like, deja vu, maybe. And I hate that feeling that, like, you already know the story. So, I'm going to pass on it. Alright, next we do have The Way I Used to Be. And I still want to keep this because of the fact that I've been trying to get through this. It's turned over because, like, I got, like, 4 or 5 chapters in. And it's just so hard because it's a hard-hitting book about somebody being molested or raped by her brother's best friend. And nobody believes her. So she's trying to get the truth out. Yeah, that sounds like a really big spoiler. I apologize. But, I mean, it's huge rape culture. It's really, really difficult if you've been in the situation of a rape before, or a molestation, or any type of, like, sexual abuse. Really difficult to read. But I want to keep it on my shelf because I know one of these days I'm going to be good in here enough to get through this whole situation and not think about my own situation I was in. Just saying. This one is To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I have it turned over. I've read it. I like the book, or the movie, better than the book, in my honest opinion. I think the only reason I want to keep it is because it's literally, like, a series. So, I'm probably just going to be keeping it for that reasoning. Then again, I think I'm just going to put it in the maybe pile because really it's not all that important to keep a series. So it's going to go in the maybe pile. No, it's not. I'm going to get rid of it. I need to. Alright, this next one, The Diary of a Haunting by M. Verano. It's Book of Shadows. There's also, there's Diary of a Haunting, there's Book of Shadows, and then there's Possession. It says, all Melanie wants is a blank book where she can keep a journal of her private thoughts. One day while browsing in a used bookshop, she finds a perfect blank book, smooth black leather with strange symbols embossed in gold. Her Wiccan friend Laura tells her it's better suited to be a magical spell book called the Book of Shadows. Melanie doesn't know know much about that stuff, but Laura, her boyfriend Caleb, and his friend Lucas get her started by writing their own made-up spells inside the book's tempting pages. What they didn't expect was a new spell showing up inside the book, and handwriting none of them recognizes. Soon they realize that the spells suggested by the Book of Shadows work, but not without wreaking havoc on the lives of the 4 teenagers. It does sound really good, and you get, like, I believe you get, like, pictures of, like, some of the things that, yeah, like, some of the things that go into the book you get pictures of, like, illustrations. And it's set up as, like, as a diary entry. It's got emails in it. Oh, gosh, yes, I have to keep this. Alright, so with that being said, that is the 3rd book, actually, that we kept on that shelf. That's really amazing. Now we're on to the last shelf, which this is going to be really difficult because this is my, erotica shelf. I do know I'm keeping books 1, 2, and 3, or 1 and 4. 1, 3, and 4. I'm not sure. But I do know that I want to keep these. So I don't even think I'm going to try and go through them because I'm going to read all these erotica books at some point. So I guess with that being said, I'm keeping 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Freed, and 50 Shades Darker. I'm also keeping Dear Enemy. I'm keeping Submission. I'm keeping the erotica novels. I'm keeping I Hate You, Treacherous, the Erotica Treasury, and Tie With Me. So I'm keeping all these. These are also besides erotica novels, the 50 Shades series, and the Erotic Treasury. These are actually from a romance subscription box. Romance Reveal box, I believe. Yeah, that sounds about right. So I'm going to just go ahead and keep all those. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 right there. Plus 3, plus 5, and 4. So, I mean, I did downsize quite a bit. I could probably almost put all those on one shelf. And then these right here are just little photo albums. These aren't even books. So that is the end of this one, and I'm getting rid of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. Go me. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wait, 3. I have 6 books in the maybe pile for that shelf. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try a chapter next with you guys after I get this one uploaded. This one only took 30 minutes, so I'm really happy about that. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you guys feel like I shouldn't get rid of a book, let me know down in the comments below and what your reasoning is. If I got rid of a book that was maybe on one of your TBRs, let me know. If I intrigued you to put a book on one of your TBRs, let me know. Because honestly, this didn't go as planned. It was supposed to be an unhaul, and it turned into like a, this is what's on my shelf, this is what I'm keeping, this is what I'm not kind of situation. I mean, you guys still don't know everything that's on there, but you know a good amount. So let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video, which is going to be try a chapter from part 1. Bye!